Welcome back to the SMT YouTube channel. Folks, we got the big news out of Verizon that they've got a new CEO. And, you know, with the outgoing CEO, Hans Vestberg, seemingly kind of like abruptly leaving his position, there's a couple things that we probably have to clarify just to make sure we understand what happened, what took place, and then what's going on moving forward. So to us on the outside looking in, we think that this happened abruptly. It seems that way to us. That, you know, just looking at the timing, the end of Q3, you know, the earnings report getting pushed back a week, you know, 8 days, whatever the case may be. There's a version of this where it actually was not abrupt. Maybe this was just a very well kept secret, and this was the plan the entire time. And it's possible that they moved up the time frame, and you never know. We don't have access to that information. The decision was made by the board to do this. And Hans is a member, is a chairman of the board. So him, along with the other board members, felt like this was the best decision. This was the succession plan to move forward. And this is the time frame they wanted to do it in. So while on the outside looking in, we may think it was abrupt and it seemed to come out of nowhere, for them it may have been precisely the timing and the schedule. Right? So, you know, maybe that is the case. You know, and moving forward, the task of Dan Schulman is going to be a consumer group focus. Verizon Business Group has always been very strong, and that hasn't really changed all that much. The 5G home internet business is also very strong, whether it's business or it's consumer group. You know, he's obviously going to have the task of really integrating the Frontier acquisition and the fiber piece, the wireline business, Fios, that whole integration. But really what I think Dan Schulman is here to do, and that's to address the consumer group weakness. The rest of the company seems to be doing fine. It's the postpaid phone net ads, which Verizon has been actively trying to fix, and it just hasn't worked out. So he's going to come in. He's going to have to put together a plan if he hasn't already. Maybe there was, you know, maybe it's very possible that what you guys are seeing about, you know, taking in your bill and getting a better deal with Verizon, that may be his first move, you know, or maybe Project 624, maybe that was him, right? And that was kind of the precursor to what's happening, you know, and obviously we have to still see if that's going to be something that actually works and resonates with the customer and helps address the weakness and the lack of growth. As the industry has grown, Verizon hasn't. And the board has really been adamant about focusing on margins. And the way you know this is that's what Hans kept talking about. Free cash flows and margins and EBITDA and the strength there. But there comes a point, I think, now when you're looking at the financial piece of it, the whole industry has been growing at a faster pace, including revenues and margins. Like they still have it too, right? So that Verizon, like AT&T, like T-Mobile, is going to have to find ways to do this. You know, how long can you continue to squeeze your existing base before you keep squeezing your way into a higher churn rate? And that's where I think Dan Schulman is going to be tasked with this. And maybe he's better for this job than Hans was. And that's why they went with Dan Schulman. And we'll see. We're going to know pretty soon what the plan is, right? We're going to start to see the things that are going to be done and the approach he's going to take. But to kind of end this video and to summarize it, maybe this wasn't abrupt. Maybe this was all planned. Maybe it was on schedule. And clearly Hans was the guy for the network. It was about network investments. It was about network assets. It was about technological, you know, primary focuses. And then now we're talking about this Dan Schulman guy who's going to come in and do his thing to try to address what has been considered weak for Verizon. What do you guys think about the timing? What do you think about the succession plan? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the approach for VZ moving forward. Like, share, subscribe, check out some more videos. Appreciate your comments, engaging with the channel, and we'll see you guys soon on the next one.